I'm gonna show you the cheap way and the expensive way to make braciole. By the end of this video, you're gonna know how to make it the classic way, a little bit cheaper with top round, and the more expensive butcher's cut flank steak. I'm gonna show you my favorite filling, and I'll also show you the old school filling. So we got 2 cuts of meat here. The first one is this top round. What we're gonna do is take slices off this and roll it for the braciole. Then we'll tenderize it. The second way we're gonna do this is with a flank steak. And same thing, we're gonna cut it in nice thin sheets, roll it up. We'll get bigger rolls with the flank steak than we would with the top round. Top round is a lot leaner. You can see there's way less fat in here. There's not as much striations. We're gonna get rid of this fat cap right here when we're making it. This is the classic meat that we use to make braciole, and the reason being is because it's so cheap to get in comparison to flank steak. Flank steak, you're gonna see, is a lot more expensive a cut. You can see the striations of fat throughout the meat. The thing with flank steak is you have to make sure you slice it the right way, because if you roll it the wrong way, it's gonna become really chewy because of all the striations. All right, so what we wanna do is we wanna take slices off the front face of the top round. So we get nice flat pieces like this that we're gonna be able to roll into a little ball. I'm gonna try to do them a little bit thinner too. There you go. I'm gonna put this one away. Key to braciole and a good braciole is tenderizing the meat. You never want to miss this step here. Here we go. All right, and the reason you want to do this is because you want to make sure you get a nice thin piece of meat that you can really roll nice and tight and fill with all your favorite fillings. That's it for the sirloin. Now I'm gonna show you how to slice and tenderize the flank steak. This one's a little bit different. So with the flank steak, you're not gonna cut it down the same way we just did that. You're gonna cut it almost like a chicken cutlet where you're taking layers off the top. This is a little bit more of a annoyance in my opinion, but I think flank steak makes the best braciole. So we'll be very patient with our very sharp knife. And we're going to cut some nice slices off the top. Basically, you want it to look like this. You can probably get 3 rolls out of this flank steak here. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, get another piece here. Eat the ever-loving crap out of it, you know? All right, then we got these nice thin pieces of flank steak. So we're gonna set all these to the side right now, and we're gonna make our fillings. All right, so we're gonna do 2 kinds of fillings, the old school way, my way. The old school way is pretty weird. My great grandma used to make it this way, but stopped because nobody seemed to like it with hard-boiled eggs, raisins in it. But it is still really good. We're gonna show you the old school way first. We're gonna chop up some of these hard-boiled eggs. We're gonna start with processing the pine nuts. Boom. And the texture you're looking for here with the pine nuts is almost like a panko breadcrumb. And then same thing, we're gonna go with the raisins. All right, old school first. Both are gonna have a base of breadcrumbs, so we'll throw in about half those breadcrumbs right there. For the old school, we're gonna go in with those raisins. We're gonna go in with the hard-boiled eggs, some pine nuts, fresh chopped parsley, fresh garlic, and for the old school filling, we're gonna use pecorino romano, and then for my way, I prefer to use parmigiano. But for this one, we're gonna do some pecorino. Over that, some salt, pepper, and then enough olive oil to drown a pig. I'm just gonna take a fork. I'm gonna mix this all up. You want it to be kind of wet, and I just mash the hard-boiled eggs right in there. You want to make sure the breadcrumbs is completely combined with all the ingredients. You don't want to have any like dry breadcrumbs on the bottom of the bowl. And this is my old school filling. All right, next we're gonna do my way. And my way is gonna be a little bit easier, I think, a lot less ingredients. All it's gonna be is that breadcrumb. You're gonna go in with the rest of the garlic, fresh minced garlic. Always fresh minced garlic, never jarlic. Some of that fresh parsley. Going with some pine nuts. We're gonna do Parmesan. Parmesan is a little bit creamier than Pecorino. I just like the flavor of Parmesan better. Okay. Hit that with some salt, some pepper. And the only difference with my way is that I wrap my stuffing in a thin sliced prosciutto. For those that hate when I say prosciutto. So as basic as this is, it does have that layer of prosciutto, which I think is perfect for braciole. Again, we're just gonna dunk this in olive oil. We want it to be like doused. There we go. And we'll just mix it all up. All right, that's it. So, old school, my way. Both are delicious. If you don't like raisins, but you kind of like that old school way, just pull out the raisins. Otherwise, I think the pine nuts are a great addition. Nuts specifically, high in fat, add a lot of moisture to braised meats like this. All right, next step. All right, so we're gonna start with the old school way first, and we're gonna stuff the top round with the old school breadcrumb mixture. You really wanna load it up, so we're just gonna spread it out across each piece of the top round. There we go. All right, now this is the fun part. This is where we're gonna tie them up. It's actually not very fun, but what we wanna look for in the meat is the striations of basically the direction the muscles are moving. So if we look at a piece like this one, if we turn it over just a little bit, you can see them running this way. You wanna roll the meat with the striations so that when you're biting in, you're biting into like a piece of the striated meat instead of like trying to fight through all of those muscle fibers in the same direction. So basically I'll take my first one like this, just nice and tight. Just gonna roll it. And you got this beautiful little guy right here, filled with breadcrumbs. I'm gonna stuff this guy back in there because he fell out. That's good. And then we'll tie him up. Okay, we're gonna do 2 strings per piece of meat. We got this nice tightly wrapped braciole here. Gonna set them to the side. We're gonna wrap up the rest. All right, we're gonna do my way now, the more expensive way, but in my opinion, way better. I love the way flank steak braises. I think it's the perfect meat to braise. As long as you do it for long enough, you're guaranteed to get a tender piece of meat. What I do is I take a piece of prosciutto like this, place it along the edge of the flank steak that's a little bit longer, and then I just top it with my breadcrumb topping. Like the same as I said before with the sirloin, it's gonna seem odd to wrap it this way, but you wanna wrap going with the striations. So we're gonna do it from the small side to the big side, just cause. Yeah. We're gonna try to get it as tightly wrapped as we possibly can, as tight as you can get it. Try to pull in the breadcrumbs as you're rolling. Work from side to side. All right, and again, we're just gonna wrap them with some string. Again, same thing, just try to keep them nice and tight. All right, and we got our braciole, nice and big. I'm gonna set it aside. We're gonna get to searing now. Getting a good sear on the braciole gives it all of its flavor. It also helps flavor the sauce we're gonna cook and braise the braciole in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this pot up to like a medium-high heat, get a nice golden brown sear on all the braciole, then we'll set them aside. Whenever we're searing any kind of meat, we wanna salt the meat. We're gonna start with our big boys first. Here we go. That nice sound. So we're gonna sear them on each side about 1 to 2 minutes. I'll show you the bottom of this one. You get a nice little golden brown color there. There's the next one. Same thing. I'll show you nice and close with this one. You see how you get that golden brown crust along the side of it? That's all flavor. We're gonna set them aside. Nice and stiff. We're gonna go with our little guys now. We'll give a little bit more of the olive oil there. I know it might seem counterintuitive to pack them in there, but you want to have as little space as possible. Little space means little steam. The more you can get them close together, the less steam is going to cook the sides of them as we're searing each side of it. All right, we'll check them. Start with that crust. Give each side about a minute. All right, so once we're done searing all of this, we're going to lower the temp down pretty drastically to like a medium-low. We're developing that fond on the bottom of the pan. I know it looks burnt from here, but it's just browned, and that's all that good flavor. What we're going to do is throw a little bit of extra olive oil in. No, we don't need much. And then top it with some garlic. This is going to be for the sauce that we're going to braise the braciole in. We'll do a little tomato paste, some sauteed garlic. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of crushed red pepper, just for a little bit of a kick. Let your garlic start to saute, just for a minute or two. You're going to let the tomato paste caramelize in the pan. That's going to help deepen and intensify the tomato flavor in the sauce. We're going to glaze the whole pan with some red wine in just a moment. Adding tomato paste without caramelizing it is like a zero additive to your sauce. It might thicken it like ever so slightly, but the reality is it's for flavor. So you want to sear it at the bottom of the pan, help that flavor caramelize, let out the natural sugars. We're going to go in with the red wine. This is just to glaze, so we're not going to do a ton of red wine. We just want to bring that to a little bit of a simmer. You can see it's hot enough right now where it's already starting to simmer. We're going to start using our wooden spoon to scratch at the bottom of the pan. You want to use wooden, not metal, otherwise you'll end up with a scratched up pan. And you're just going to get all that fond off the bottom of the pan. That's all flavor that's going to be added to the sauce. We're starting to see it thicken up a little bit. And we're going to go in with some hand-crushed tomatoes. All right, so I quite literally mean hand-crushed. You're going to take your tomatoes, squeeze them, get all the juice out, put them into the pot. You can do this beforehand into a bowl. It doesn't really matter how you do it. So I'm going to do 2 cans of these tomatoes. All right, we're going to hit it with some fresh basil. A little more salt. Mix everything up and bring it to a simmer. Once it comes to a simmer, we're going to add our braciole back to the sauce. Sauce is simmering. We're dropping all of our braciole in. We're going to wait about 2 to 3 hours. Let this simmer. We want these to get super tender. What you'll do to properly braise them is cover them, but leave a little bit of a space open for air to release from the pot. This will allow the sauce to thicken up. We're going to open it and stir it like every 45 minutes or so, but these are going to sit now for like 3 hours, and then we'll come back. See you in a few. All right, so we are done simmering. Braciole is nice and tender. We're gonna remove all of this, separate it into expensive, cheap. So we're gonna grab this big one. It's about to literally fall apart. It's so tender. And we got a couple of these stubby guys we'll put on the side over here. Now, since we used hand-crushed tomatoes for the sauce, what I'm gonna do here is blend it so that I can use it for pasta. And we can set this all aside. So we got both bracioles here. All right, so braciole number 1. We're gonna go with the top round. Let's see what he looks like. Just look how smooth that knife goes through. Everybody always asks me if I cut the twine off before I serve them. I usually don't. I just tell people there's twine on them, because if you cut all the twines off, they start unraveling in themselves. So I just prefer to keep it on and let people take them off on their own. Let's get a taste. This is the old school version. There is something about the flavor, like the sweetness of the raisins in there. That's the old school version. So good, so tender. Now, my version. Beautiful. Thank ya. My flank steak version, 3 bracioles, $50. Top round version, you got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I didn't even use the whole top round, and it was under 30 bucks. You get way more bang for your buck with the top round. The big boys though, the beef flavor that you get from flank steak braciole is so worth putting in a little bit of extra money, in my opinion. So that's your braciole, 2 different ways. If you haven't yet, like, comment, subscribe below. We're building this channel. We'd love for you to come along. Let me know what you want me to do next, what old school meals you want me to make. This is braciole. You can get the full recipe at my website, alwaysfromscratch.com. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.